In bluelock's facility, the supposed end goal for Ego Jinpachi's entire plan is to create the single best striker that will change Japan. Throughout the story, the emphasis has obviously been on nothing but that, with every stage along the way furthering their abilities in a way befitting of a striker. When it comes to the Neo Egoist League, however, a more realistic approach is given to the players, in the form of options. As stated directly in the manga, you can prove your worth from any position, as long as you play consistent and perform well obviously. Now in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a person who took full advantage of this, earning himself a spot on the Bastard München regulars just in an unfamiliar position to him. The person I'm talking about is obviously none other than Gagamaru Gin, one of mine and many others' favorite because of how awesome he is as a character. Now as I stated earlier, the Neo Egoist League gives our players multiple positions to prove their worth, which yes, does include the goalkeeper. Ultimately, as Ego said early on, all that matters is getting playtime in the matches to show off your worth and pick up the bids. If you can't get onto the field, your position doesn't even really matter in the first place. They are all given a clear option to continue either pursuing their striker position or to retreat to another position, proving their worth elsewhere. This is shown to be true from the very start, with players from the PXG and Barca game earning places from the first match in the top 10, such as Oliveraku, Otoya, Karasu, and Ryu. Now also from the start, Gagamaru is very aware of this system, actually immediately accepting it and moving forward with only one single goal: earn a spot anywhere on the regulars. As Corona tells them here, they all have different skill sets and unique talents that separate them, allowing each person to market themselves for their desired position. Players like Yoichi, however, and his stubborn nature, refuse to adapt, claiming that he will not play along with this system and not be pushed off of striker once again. He instead aims to earn a position through overtaking the current holders, which is, really unrealistic. This mentality, however, wasn't shared alone by purely Yoichi, because other people such as Isagi, Yukimiya, and Kunigami all also want to maintain their forward positions, battling it out to be the team's messiah. Anyways, the first time that Gagamaru is made aware of his new positioning is prior to their match against Manshrine City, as we see Noah preparing to announce the regulars. Finishing off the roster, Noah announces the goalkeeper to be none other than Gagamaru, as we've stated previously, which doesn't even seem to faze him. He's actually just picking his nose here, which I guess is exactly what I'd expect from our favorite jungle boy. Now funny enough with this scene, directly behind Gagamaru is actually Bastard München's former starting goalkeeper, who is giving the most confused look towards Gagamaru. I guess it makes sense because he was Bastard München's literal starting goalkeeper, so the fact that Gagamaru hasn't ever touched the position and still took his spot off of pure data is just, ridiculous. The only thing that our GOAT asked Noah is the reasoning for his choice, because I guess an explanation is the least that Gagamaru is owned. He explains that the reason for his choice is because of Gagamaru's physicality specs, which are apparently the most suited for goalkeeper out of everyone on Bastard München. Apparently that includes the former bitch-ass goalkeeper. It's as simple as his data is the best fit for the position, which Gagamaru obviously had no problem with, just shaking his head along in agreement, happy to get any playtime at all. Now with the context of his path to goalkeeper out of the way, let's talk a bit about chapter 217 and its implications for the future of Gagamaru's character. As we all know well, Baru's shot splashed into the net, giving Gagamaru absolutely no time to react. Now when I say this, I want you to keep in mind that I am not exaggerating at all. He genuinely had no chance to block this shot, as we learn later in the chapter that was for a pretty good reason. Baru has actually had his own evolution already, using his own visual ability, which is dubbed the Predator Eye. By keeping a close watch on the goalkeeper at all times, Baru was able to slip in the shot at the perfect time, waiting for the single moment that Gagamaru was thrown slightly off guard. Now Isagi does say very clearly as well that this Predator Eye is a completely different thing than metavision, which is a very important fact to take into account for this Gagamaru theory. Anyways, for Gagamaru to even save one of the Predator Eye shots, he's gonna have to at least overcome the surprise aspect of it, which is where we're at in today's video. With this newly developed weapon on Ubers, and players like Lorenzo, a newly awakened Nico, Ryu, Aku, I could list the entire team. But anyways, these players are going to make shot opportunities in abundance for Baru, and for the game to have decent suspense, some of these shots are going to need to be blocked by Gagamaru obviously. Now I believe that in order to step up as a goalkeeper, Gagamaru is going to awaken his own visual ability this match, which we'll just refer to for now as Primal Vision. Funny enough, somebody literally commented a joke about that for Gagamaru while I'm making this entire theory video on it, so thank you. Now before we talk more on Primal Vision, my main reason for thinking this actually is just the wording of Baru's ability, Predator Eye. Now against anybody else, this ability's name would not bother me at all, because it fits perfectly with Baru's whole king vibe. He's the predator, top dog, top G, all that stupid shit, making him the predator of the field in his own mind. When it comes down to Gagamaru though, however, the cogs begin to turn a bit differently, because of one important reason. Because the wild Gagamaru does not have any predators. Born and raised in the Wakayama prefecture of Japan, our favorite jungle boy would always be exploring the wilderness, spending time in the mountains, and just becoming one with nature. When asked how he'd spend his last day on Earth, Gagamaru actually replied that he would just space out in the mountains. The holidays, he'd rather be meditating in the bamboo thickets and talking with mountain animals. For God's sake, the most notable thing that we know about Gagamaru is that he just straight beefs with bears. Besides the iconic image of this man just unintentionally rizzing up a bear, Gagamaru's ear actually boasts a pretty crazy scar from one. Funny enough though, the bear is still listed to be his favorite animal in the bluelock Bible, so I guess he doesn't really hold grudges either, because he probably killed the bear. Now my main point with all of the Gagamaru wilderness talk is that Baru stands no chance at all. In this match, I believe that Gagamaru will awaken the first goalkeeper ability in all of bluelock by blocking Baru's shot with his newly acquired Primal Vision. Now how he will do this, I obviously can't guess the exact specifics of it, so let's just have a little bit of fun theorizing. The main prediction that I had in terms of Gagamaru's awakening moment will occur in the next shot, because I don't think that Baru's new ability was just a one and done. In a similar manner as Isagi with metavision, Gagamaru will use his Primal Vision to scan the entire pitch at once, using one very specific thing to protect the goal box: line of sight. As somebody who grew up in the wilderness, hid from and hunted animals, all that crazy stuff, Gagamaru has some exceptional senses and spring-like reflexes. This will lead to his awakening of Primal Vision later in this matchup, as he realizes that he won't always be able to track the ball, due to Mark Snuffy and the Uber's toxic-ass strategies. Gagamaru will instead scan the pitch for the players themselves, focusing mostly on where his own teammates are focusing. This will allow him as the goalkeeper to keep a more watchful eye over the pitch, also giving him the needed time to block Baru's shot, which hopefully, just hopefully, he blocks with a scorpion kick to add to the extra disrespect. Now, one extra thing I want to add that I really hope comes to fruition is I hope his aura is like a monkey or some sort of primate, maybe like a gorilla, because just imagine Baru goes to shoot and Gagamaru locks that shit down on clamps and then just starts beating on his chest in celebration like a gorilla. Now I'm sorry about not going more into depth about what I think Primal Vision would be, but I want to leave you guys with some questions so we can hopefully have some fun chats in the Discord and comments. Speaking of which, I want you all to go in the comments right now and tell me your own ideas for Primal Vision. Do you even think it'll happen? If so, how will it happen? I'm interested in hearing any ideas that you guys might have about it. As always, I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video because I thought it was interesting to make a theorizing video, and if you enjoyed this type of content, let me know and I will absolutely make theory videos every week. Anyways, I hope you all have an amazing day and thank you all so much for your continued support.